Hola, 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 mi gente. So, Haran Zamarco, seeing as that's you on the instruments, okay, I'm putting on my bucket list a jam session. I need to be in a jam session with you and your people in the studio sometime in the near future, right? Because we do things right away, right? We don't put them off for years
Absolutely.
and years and years. In
Near
the near,
future,
Absolutely.
near future, as in tomorrow morning.
there you go.
Uh,
I'm gonna
I
give him a
got that
couple
much
more
money.
months. I'm gonna give him a couple more months than that, Lily. I'm gonna give him a couple more months than that.
I'm gonna have to pay a couple of people for their time, but so
Yeah, listen, long as it doesn't pass next year, the end of next year, okay, then I'm gonna be mad. So, welcome, 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 ladies and gentlemen. We are hella late, but I see a lot of you in the room already. So hit that like and subscribe for Mama. Tonight we're talking about who ruined the image of Black women, and is it ruined? Right? What is mainstream? What is Black women mainstream in this country? And we're going to keep it to this country and what's mainstream in this country. I know you're going to try to take me out to Africa and Puerto Rico and, the Black women in the blood and the Black women in Istanbul or doctors. We all live here, so we're going to deal with here just for tonight, right? Just for shits and giggles. So welcome to On the Block with Jen. Is it Thursday, Lily?
Yes. For
All
another.
right, welcome. Welcome to On the Block with Jen, Thursday evening, what Lily calls Friday Eve. We are glad to see you here. You can reach me on all social media platforms On the Block with Jen, TikTok and Instagram, and also On the Block with Jen at Gmail if you want to Gmail me for business, right? Collaborations or what have you, questions, topics that you think we would cover in a really, really dope way. Want to help Mama keep the street lights on the block. Cash App On the Block with Jen. It is rolling on the bottom. I asked you guys to buy me a slice of cheesecake yesterday. Thank you to everyone who Cash Apps me when I'm not on there because you caught the replay and you're like, yo, that show is really, really dope. I really, really thank you immensely from the bottom of my little ice cold heart. That is where you can be discreet with your money. If you don't care about being discreet, feel free to super chat me. We will pull your comment up on the panel and we will dissect. You are all welcome to come up on the panel and argue this subject tonight with us. If you want to come up behind your avatar and hide, we understand, but you got to throw some chips in the super chat for that, okay? There's a fee for hiding your face. We don't mind you hiding, but it costs some money. Also, I'm unblocking people. So if you're somebody that I blocked and you still want to participate and you're like, damn, I really wish I was on there because I loved hanging in that chat, throw me some chips and tell me, hey, Jen, unblock me. I'll unblock you. Other than that, stay your ass blocked and keep lurking. With that said, again, hit that like and subscribe. Lily, where can the people find you?
All right, I'm Lily. You can find me at YB Limited. That's the letter Y, the letter B, the word limited. That is here on YouTube as well as on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok.
and music producer and musician Heron DeMarco. You can catch me here on YouTube as Heron DeMarco. I would like to give a special shout out to those who just been really showing love to the posts that I've been throwing up. I threw some other posts up today. We'll throw some other posts up tomorrow. You can catch me tomorrow. You can also catch me on IG as Dangerous DeMarco, and you can catch me on Spotify and Apple Music as Heron DeMarco.
Hello, everyone. I'm Saint No Saint. I am Saint No Saint. I am Saint No Saint, obviously, because I didn't start off right. So I'm on YouTube and Instagram at Saint No Saint and TikTok at No Saint.
Okay, welcome, gorgeous panel. Welcome, gorgeous chat. Hold us down. We are here hella late, so we getting right into the topic. Yes, the fuck we are. All right, guys. So tonight's topic is YouTube press. Thank you for the super chat. First super chat of the night says, "Don't block me." You're good with us, YouTube. So far, so good. You are good with us.
You be having me laughing.
Oh my God. George Cook, I did not change my hairstyle. I just didn't take out my pin curls. I didn't have time. I didn't have time to give you the flowy curls. Hit me back tomorrow, okay? I had to be here for the people. I was already late. So I was like, they're going to get what they going to get, okay? All right, guys. So tonight's topic, I did try to do the thumbnail to cover what my thoughts were. If you'd like to add some thoughts, feel free, okay? But tonight's topic is who, pray tell, has ruined the image of the Black woman in this country? Was it Black men? You guys remember Snoop Dogg walking in black women to the award show on leashes like dogs. We all remember that, right? He never atoned for that. He never even apologized. He just, started sucking chocolate off the fingers of white women and became commercial Snoop Dogg, right? Uncle Snoop. Everybody loves Uncle Snoop. Never apologized for portraying women in that way, but we shall move on. Then we have Lizzo, who is an obese woman. Now, people have called her confident. People have called her bold because she is obese and she wants the world to know that is how she is going to stay. Then we have Hattie McDaniels. You all remember her from Gone with the Wind. She won an Oscar for that portrayal of a mammy. Then we have the black women who are twerking all over social media. It's almost synonymous, actually, on social media. The black women, they are going to twerk. Okay, going to give you a good twerky twerk. Then we have one of the top female rappers in the business right now who will be opening for none other than Champagne Papi Drake. That is Sexy Red. She wanted you to know that her booty hole is brown. So now that we all have that information, that song is taking her on tour with one of the biggest hip hop artists in the game right now, which is Drake. Now, how that woman ended up on tour opening for Drake with one song, I don't know, but things are different nowadays. Things are getting a little strange. So welcome everybody. Let's get into this conversation right now. And of course, No Saint will give us his POV from the white desk, right? From the white desk. Yeah. And I shall plug in my Mac so you guys don't lose me because I don't want you to lose me ever.
This is gonna be a tough topic tonight.
You know what's funny? I did invite Brother Ish because he's well versed in all the blackness. And he even said the same thing you said, Lily. He was like, "Wow, that's layered. That's gonna be a tough one." I said, "We got time. We got about an hour. We got what you think? You already shaking your head, Haran.
We gonna need an hour per night for this topic.
Oh, Haran said it ain't tough for you. It ain't tough for you. Okay, well then we shall start with you. I do have a video. You guys know I preach separation all the time. I don't believe that there's a black community. I preach separation. I think there are two different demographics of black people in America. And I think the mistake that one demographic has made is trying to do the whole, we are a community, a black community. I think it's a big mistake. And I've also said, along with other people on the panel, no other race or ethnicity upholds, celebrates, and defends and protects the degeneracy in their community. It just doesn't happen. Like white people don't cape for meth heads. Puerto Ricans don't cape for, the derelicts on the corner. Asians don't do it. And every community and every race has an underbelly. Let's be clear. Every race and community has an underbelly. We all do, except in the black community because there wants to be this communita, right? This generalization. And it's not that we generalize. It's black people like, no, black power, black magic, black love. And that encompasses everybody in the community. And I think it's a mistake because then women are used to seeing people like Ice Spice and Sexy Red and Cardi B and Nicki Minaj, and they lump everybody together. And that's just human nature, right? That's just human nature. We get lumped in whether we like it or not. So let's explore this a little bit. I do have a video and I want to pass the mic to Haran first because he said that this is pretty easy to diagnose, right? But this video I'm playing right here is basically what I've always been preaching with this, which is separation. And I'm really happy to see that women, specifically black women, are separating themselves from the Sexy Reds and what have you. So this has gone pretty viral and I'm really glad to hear it. I'm like, finally, and hopefully more women will follow suit and start doing more of these videos, right? More of these less twerking videos. So let's hear what Miss Lady had to say. I'm sorry, I don't know her name, but everybody's sharing this, so I'm sure you'll see it eventually.
You cannot convince me otherwise that Sexy Red is not an industry plant that was put here to help finalize the destroying of the black woman image. They was already had us under attack, and she was here to just finalize the process. The way they trying to force her on us is just crazy. Like, I wanted to go see Drake, but once I found out Drake had her opening for him, absolutely not. Absolutely not am I going to support anything that thing is behind. I'm not supporting it, right? This is the reason why it's time to separate. It's time to separate as black women, because ain't no way I'm about to be associated with that and Suki Stankiana. Ain't no way. Ain't no way. I don't care how you feel. I don't care how you feel. At this point, separation has to happen. It's one thing to make trashy music. That is a different level of trash.
Okay, so let's just absolutely, absolutely.
Next presidential candidate.
Yeah, absolutely deserves a round of applause. So just for shits and giggles, she is talking about Sexy Red, which is, I mean, they just like Ice Spice, they very strangely catapulted her to mainstream. Back in the day, you know, an artist had to drop a couple albums, do lots and lots of marketing. You know what I mean? Now, these female rappers specifically, it's the black female rappers specifically, they'll drop one song about sex, and then next thing you know, they are opening for an artist who was in the business like 10, 15 years before they were established, okay? Just with one song. So it is peculiar. This is not exactly a conspiracy theory. We have tangible evidence that these women are very, very, very degenerate in nature, very sexualized. They drop one song and then you are opening for Drake. That is a major move from here to there, okay? So this is tangible evidence. This isn't, oh, I wonder what's happening. This is actually what's happening. Ice Spice is opening for Doja Cat, one of the biggest artists in the game, and Sexy Red is opening for Drake. Sexy Red is the woman on the right, quite unsightly, just like a lot of the other female rappers. So before we pass the mic to Haran, let's see if it's just the old folks making much ado about nothing. Okay, so I pulled up Pound Town lyrics. That is Sexy Red's song. This is what catapulted her to fame. Okay, I don't listen to these artists, but I'm like, let's just for shits and giggles see if we're judging too harshly. Are we being our parents? Back in my day, hip hop was better. Is it that? Or is it that this is really, really degenerating to a point of no return, specifically representing Black women? Now, I know the woman in the video is like, well, she doesn't represent me, but that's not how the mainstream sees it, right? So let's just read the lyrics for shits and giggles. Sexy Red's big hit song called Pound Town. First verse, I am out of town thugging with my rounds, my coochie pink, my booty hole brown. Where the niggas? I'm looking for the hoes. Quit playing, nigga. Come suck a bitch toe. Pound Town just left Pound Town with my nigga. He just took a bitch down. Yeah, that nigga dick a bitch down. Yeah, that nigga eat me out. Pound Town just left Pound Town with my nigga. He just took a bitch down. Yeah, that nigga dig a bitch down. Yeah, that nigga eat me out. Second verse, and of course I'm not gonna go all the way, but second verse is, I'm out here in Miami looking for the hoochie daddies. Where they at? Where the niggas that get ratchet? Where they at? My son needs a new pappy. Too many bitches. Where the niggas at? I'm trying to get my coochie scratched. Yeah. I'm trying to get my coochie scratched. Yeah. You know them dreadheads do it the best. Oh yeah, I like a nigga with a check. All my niggas give me neck. You know I'm sexy. I'm the best. I'm the shit, little bitch. I'm that, you know it. I can't say his name because he be cheating. I love you, baby. Yeah, and I'm the reason niggas love a bad bitch. What Suki say? Nut on my tits. Pound Town just left. Pound Town. And I'll stop there because after that is the chorus yet again. My coochie pink, my booty hole brown. So those are the lyrics for Sexy Red's hit song. And that is the song that got her opening for Drake, one of the biggest rap artists in the industry right now. Make it make sense. On that note, I will pass the mic to Haran DeMarco because he said it's easy to decipher.
I bet she's gonna thank God for that song.
I'm saying you're right up down there. I'm saying it's like.
No, Sam was like, what the fuck was that? No, Sam was like, what just happened?
You see what George said?
A little bit, George. Just a tinge.
Even though my uncle thought it was saying, pussy. I'm like, Uncle, you're just a perv.
Right.
You're just a perv.
The
Yeah, she's
the
not
pushing.
necessarily the Bob Dylan of the genre, is she? No Saint. Not you. No one would mistake her for that. Look, listen, man.
I can't judge. I still listen to Bon Jovi. Though. I'll pass the mic.
Got some heaters though. That dude's got heaters. Okay,
Yes,
but
John does. Yes, John does.
um, I believe we all play a role in the problem.
Oh, okay.
Because chaos cannot exist within a vacuum. Okay, we all play a role in the situation. However, I do believe that Black women will never, ever admit to their contribution or their continued contribution to the fucking problem, because that's just not their space in the culture. They truly feel that they have a strong patent on victimhood. As a matter of fact, I will go as far as to blame the culture of victimhood in the Black community on Black women, because they, at the very core, continue to allow the idea of blaming external forces on their situation. And the Black man has followed suit with that by blaming white men for their dire situations. See, men are proactive. Victims use mental manipulation. Victims point fingers. Victims never really truly take, people who use victimhood never truly take account for their situations. Now, here's the thing. Let's just say you dispute with everything I just said right now. Let's just say you think everything I said is bullshit. The moment they get the driver's seat in hip hop, the moment the one would actually say the CNN of the culture, the moment that they have the microphone in their hand, what did they use to do? Well, what did they choose to do? They turned that whore factor up even more. So I dare to say this. Did you ever really have an issue with the scam, or did you have an issue with the cut?
Ouch.
So yeah, that's all I got to say for right now. I got a few other things to say, but I'll save that for later.
So that's pretty heavy. So you're saying basically they never really had a problem with being portrayed as degenerates or hypersexualized. They had a problem with not making money for it.
Absolutely, because it proves that. You have the spotlight now. Here you go. And the first thing you do is that you damn near whore yourself out more than we did. We wasn't having you sucking dick on camera and whoring yourself out like that. Yeah, granted, that shit with Snoop Dogg with the women on chains, that was crazy. Yeah, that was. But you chicks is out here doing OnlyFans shits. You're eating people asses on stage. You're doing wild shit. Shit men did not have you doing. So what's the excuse on that?
So let me ask you a question before I pass the mic. Do you think when we think about complacent or complicit, whichever one, when Snoop Dogg did that, because it was a very, very, it went viral for back then, right? He walked two Black women into an award show, cameras everywhere, the elite everywhere, the record label owners that everybody hates, other celebrities, other artists, walk two Black women in on leashes to an award show in front of the world. Okay, the Grammys are global. Do you think it was a huge mistake not to check them? And when I say not to check them, there are a lot of people that could have checked him. His peers could have checked him. Other women could have checked him. The labels could have checked him. No one checked him, right? To the point where he doesn't even feel like he needs to apologize for that. He just gets to be good old fuzzy, warm Uncle Snoop now. Do you think had they checked him, that at least would have set some sort of precedence or standard or something?
I don't know, but I do agree that he should have been checked. When I saw it back then, I was like, oh, that's a bit much, man. I don't agree with that. That's a little wild. Not even a little. It's wild. It's unnecessary.
Okay. And with that said, I just want to say I know there are other people that are anti the degeneracy. I get it. And I'm sure the people that back then, a lot of people gonna say, but I said something about it. I get it. I'm just saying on a large scale, he was not checked. He was not shut down. When I say checked, he should have been shut down for that, right? So I don't mean, of course, us as individuals were like, that's too far. That's too fucking much. A lot of us said that. A lot of us were like,
Mm-hmm.
what is this? Right? I'm not talking about us. I'm talking about on a large scale, right? He should have been called out by his peers, right? Because
I
I
mean,
see a lot of them. But go ahead, Lily.
I just thought about it. I don't think I messed with them since then. Because I
Mm,
stopped messing with Snoop Dogg a long time ago, and I used to love that man. But I had to trace it back, and that's the last time nothing.
hmm.
Yeah, since then. Um, I don't know if it was because of that, but I saw some other things too, and I was like, I'm good. You can let me off here at this stop. Um, so I saw Tristan say mention Freaknik. And I know
Mm,
in different conversations like this, people like to bring up things like, well, you had Little Kim. Well, you had Freaknik.
correct.
Okay, well, I can help your point a little bit more, but I'm going to go ahead and dismantle it after I help the point, right? So you can go back even further than that. You have Millie Jackson. You have Lucille that I sent you from 1936.
Mm-hmm,
All of that, right?
mm-hmm,
The difference is that this wasn't the mainstream narrative, mainstream visual, mainstream sound of Black women.
that's
And
very fair to say.
so that's been my biggest and only issue consistently throughout this entire um, era that we've been witnessing with the newer rappers and just not just the rappers. I mean, you look at social media, um, mainstream television, you look at a lot of those things and it's just becoming synonymous. And I was wondering why more women weren't saying anything sooner.
Mm-hmm,
To be real with you, and I could be wrong, I'm just saying my algorithm and what I was getting, I was seeing more men complain about it sooner. I'm just now
mm-hmm,
starting to see the women say something. But I started seeing the men say something toward the beginning of this year.
mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that no women were saying anything. I'm just saying
Correct,
it's
correct.
starting to bubble up more.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Um, and so like that's been my biggest issue. It's like where is the balance at, and why aren't more women saying anything, more Black women? Because like myself, when I started seeing the queer community go too far, I was like, oh, hold up, let me get it on record real quick to say that's not me. I'm not with that. All of us are not like that. Blah 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 blah. Right. I would just like to see more of that. Um, and that's where I'm going to leave it for right now because there is a
okay.
lot more. This is going to take longer than an hour.
So please hold on to your notes so you don't lose your thoughts. Use one of these if you have to. No, Saint, from the outside looking in, and I know you're not a Black man, obviously, but I don't want you to sit quiet on the panel tonight. You have a point of view. You're watching this. You're in the same country. You hear the shit. So what, from your point of view, do you see?
Well, I mean, I was listening to what you're saying. I was listening to the lady that you put on the screen. So it made me think. Listen, George brought up Salt and Pepper. My first thought was Two Live Crew with some of their music. And then I thought about MC Choice, which many people probably don't even know who MC Choice is, who had a lot of very explicit lyrics. The difference is now is back then it really did stand out because it wasn't all over the place. The difference now is, in order to stand out with, I think you got to look at the whole, everybody as a whole as a society. You have, when I was growing up, if you got your nudie magazine, that was hot stuff. Now they can't even sell those anymore. It's on your phone. It's everywhere. It's free. You can see explicit sex. We had to go and find porn videos on VHS that somebody's perverted dad had stashed somewhere, right? Now you just can get it instantly. So why did I bring that up? I think that we are so desensitized that in order to stand out for some of the, it's no longer come out with a nice tight dress, to show your sexuality and, some cleavage. We see that everywhere. No longer is talking about oral sex. That's normal. Now you got to talk about eating somebody's butt, because that's kind of like the new taboo, if it even is anymore. So I really think,
Yeah,
no, not really, right? Now that's not even, that's the,
Whose
I
butt
don't know
is
what,
getting eaten is a taboo subject. I think. Anyway,
what'd you
Say again?
say?
But
I said whose butt is getting eaten, I guess, is the taboo subject. I guess it's
And
not
that's losing its steam as well.
exactly. It's
right.
losing its steam. So
I mean, that used to be my ace card. Now it's like, yeah, all right. And everybody else does that too.
Right.
But no, but seriously, I just think that and as you're putting it, that sex sells, but now it's even harder. It's so hard to get noticed that people are just going more and more extreme. And yeah, that the lyrics you read was just as disgusting as some of the lyrics by MC Choice or Two Live Crew, but the difference is it's now way more popular, or at least way more mainstream. Not enough people are saying, hey, because Two Live Crew, I believe, got arrested in Japan for doing some stuff on stage.
Mm-hmm.
You know
We
what?
got Ish. All right.
We
You
got
know what?
it.
I'm
Let
thinking
me
the. Oh, sorry.
really quickly, super chat break. YouTube Press, thank you for the super chat, sir. Says, imagine Pound Town as a themed ride through Disney ride. Who's buying tickets? He is. That ride sounds like it would stink, so I'm going to pass. Lily,
Yeah.
you were saying.
Yeah, I'm thinking about some things, right? As we're talking, some things are coming back to me memory wise. I'm putting some things together.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'm remembering some shit. So I do remember people starting to say something with the twerking, and I remember even our friend Monique saying something about the public appearance with the bonnet. And I also remember the same women that they were addressing, the backlash was horrible. And it's always horrible when this is mentioned, right? And it's mentioned in a way like, whoa, I remember when black women, because black women, when I was coming up, was so fucking classy. Yes, we had our little Kims and all that stuff, but black women was just classy. Like that minimalistic 90s makeup and that 90s sexy. That 90s sexy was sexy. And so I'm thinking about that. And then I'm just thinking about when I'm out and about on the street and I look around and I'm like, I can't tell you how many times a day I ask what happened when I see some of my sisters, because the way I was raised was just to have pride. I was thinking about my great grandmother, my grandmother, my mother, and then down to myself. Like I was raised to have pride when I walked out the door. That I was not only representing myself, but I'm representing my family, and then coming from the black community, I was also taught I was representing my community too growing up, right?
So let me pause you right there, Lily. When you say, because again, the community, right? When
Mm-hmm.
you say, I'm wondering what happened to my sisters, in my opinion, therein lies the issue, right?
Mm-hmm.
Again, when we think about and a lot of shit we're gonna say tonight is gonna be super controversial. Say
Mm-hmm.
it with your money. Throw it in the super chat. You know, but again, other races and ethnicities do not view people in their tribe this way. Like I can tell you right now, never in my life in 49 years have I looked at a group of Puerto Rican women and thought those are my sisters. Ever. Not once.
Mm-hmm.
Not once, right? We were not raised to even think or look like that. Like my sister and I share DNA, right? That is my sister. But in the Black community, there is this community. And I think I'm telling you, I stress, just like the woman said in the video, separation. It is time to separate. I've been saying that for years, right? So it's good to see her say it. But do you think therein lies a huge blunder when you say, what happened to my sisters? Those are not your sisters. She would beat your ass for telling you take your bonnet off in the airport.
Facts.
Right?
Facts. And-
Right? So is that an issue? Is that an issue, the way we view things? And I love what you say, because it sticks to me. There's how we want things to be and how they are.
right.
Right?
Yeah.
Well,
And
sorry. Go ahead.
well, no, I was just saying a friend of mine and I had this conversation earlier about how we were raised in that and coming out of that, right? Because I'm pro black, I'm not pro nigga. Like, it's two different things. It's just two different things. I know, it's just, it is. It's a clear difference. Just a clear
Mhm.
difference. Like, I don't understand like ratchet mentality.
Mhm.
I don't understand a lot of things about it. So like it's just two completely separate. Yes, we might look similar, look the same, but it's completely different, right? And so with saying that or whatever, it's kind of, how can I put it? Making that realization and then moving
Mhm.
away from the way I was raised is a very interesting process, right?
Mhm.
Because like looking around and looking at things, I'm like, yeah, this is not the way I was taught or the way I was raised. This is something completely different as far as thinking that everybody is a monolith and that we all have to stick together, and no, I can't say anything bad about her because she's my sister or whatever, and this and that. But then I also look at, and I talk about this a lot on the show, and I'll say it again tonight. I have lived in all black neighborhoods, mostly mixed neighborhoods, and all white neighborhoods. I have never had I've had the worst possible experience living in a certain demographic of a black neighborhood, because then you have my mother's neighborhood that is mostly black, a totally different demographic of all black.
Mhm. Mhm.
So it just looks different.
Okay.
Um,
Haran, I know you wanted to say something. Mute your mic
yeah.
until you speak, because we got a lot from your side. No saying.
Um, um, class pride and essentially leaving things to the imagination, have become synonymous with respectability politics. That's one of the main issues that we're having in the community.
Mhm.
And if you bring this up, you're being told that you're policing their appearance, you're policing their behavior. There's this constant. There are a sect of black men who want to who are basically just asking for their women to behave in fucking public. Just behave. Can you be a lady in public? And it's often snapped back with fire and anger and so on and so forth or whatever. And look, listen, a lot of brothers, and this is going to sound fucked up. We gonna pull a lot of band-aids off tonight. Look, a lot of you brothers are conditioned because of your mothers. You're conditioned to believe that their perspectives are the end all and be all. A lot of y'all have to come to a certain stage in your life where you have to say, "Hey, ma, respectfully, you believe this particular way, I believe this particular way," or flat out, you need to just tell your mama shut the fuck up. Because way
Mm-mm.
too many brothers are subconsciously tied to, not, going against black women, not going against their ideas, not do like, look, listen, man, this is one of the reasons why I tell a lot of you brothers, don't argue with them. For what? Let them stew in their situation, because now the world is seeing their behavior on their own.
Order in the
Period.
court. That was heavy. Okay, order in the court for the truth, because as you guys know, I date black men. I do, right? And that, no lie, that's an issue I've had, tied to the hip with their mama, and not only their mama, but their sisters.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Very
And I
much
can't
so.
tell you, I lost count of times where I was in a verbal dispute with a man because something his mama stuck his nose in or his sister stuck his nose in. So when you're dating a Black man in general, if they have a sister or a mama, I have to know the dynamic of their relationships or I want nothing to do with it. I'm at that point. I'm there. I want nothing to do with them because they come as some sort of package and they remote control him. And I can't deal with a man who's remote controlled by anybody's mama and anybody's sister. And if that's just their single, oh, baby, like the way Lily says, you can forget it. You'll be dating her and the sister, the mama and the sister and the man. Complete turn off. So when I hear a man has a sister, I'm like, where is she? Is she physically fit? Is she happy? And is she married? Because if she doesn't fall under that category, she's going to be a fucking thorn in our side, right? Experienced it, and I've experienced it enough times to know it's a fucking pattern. So don't tell me, oh, it's the man you picked. It goes back to what Haran said. There is no pushback. There's this thing where you raise that little Black boy all the way up. I said, and then they grow up like that, okay? And then they cower to anything mama may think or sister may think. Now, that's aside from a man should love and respect his mother. That's aside from that. That is not what I'm talking about. And you know goddamn well what I'm actually talking about because some of you experienced it and some of you are living it. So let's not, for the sake of stupidity and denial, come up here today and be like, that never happened. I didn't see that. Some of you are living it right now. I'll pass the mic.
Yeah, I just want to say to any passport bros out there, what she said about marrying or being with the man and it's going to be with the mom and the sister. When you marry someone from another country, you're marrying their whole family. So be prepared to shell out some money. Listen, I have an issue, and this is really tough for me. I'm on this panel. And the only reason I have an issue, I can see when Lily said what she said, I can see George shaking his head. That's right. When she said there's a difference between Black people and the N-words. That is something I've heard white people say around me sometimes that just drives me nuts. I understand what she's saying, but I hate for people to co-sign with that stuff.
But
I think people are different. No, I think people are different.
Are you mad at the truth or are you just mad at their saying it? Because I don't care
I think
where
it
the
means
truth
something
comes from,
different. I think it
true.
means something different for you than it means to some white guy living in suburbs
but is it
saying
true?
it. Are there differences there's differences between all people? I mean, okay. I mean, there, you know, and sometimes it's with, and sometimes it comes with where you grew up financially on the ladder, like Jen always talks about, you know. I mean, certainly there's a difference between what one person in the white community looks at compared to someone who grew up, say, in the trailer park, you know, or grew up in a different area. I mean, there's differences between me and a lot of people I work with.
All right,
you know?
no saying, but I'll say this. You're absolutely right. There's differences in economics and all that background, right? And we can, you know, what we don't want to do is ask what happened to the mass shooter when he was 5.
Right.
What happened to him? Right. We're dealing with what is, right. So the funny thing is that you say it makes you cringe when white people say it, but you have to realize when Black people say it, they mean it the exact same way. They literally mean it the exact same way. I can't tell you how many times I've heard this from my Black friends, okay, who are doing very well in life. They literally joke with me. I told you guys this before. They will call, if something happened, let's say a sexy red drops, my coochie pink, my booty hole brown, they will text me and laugh and be like, your niggas are acting up. They make a distinct line drawn in the sand. So it goes back to what Lily said. Are you mad? Does it make you cringe because it's true? You don't like hearing it?
Well, you're saying, but see, I don't know. You're making me think. I don't know if when you say they're saying the exact same thing, because I think people that say it when I was growing up, they just don't like the cultural differences. So if you're not really in the mainstream, if you're not dressing a certain way, speaking a certain way, if you're using your own cultural slang, then, you know, there's a difference between basically the good Black guy who's like me or the bad Black people who you know.
Let me ask you something, though, Saint. Let me
But
ask you
there, is,
something.
but there is a
Let me
difference
ask
in
you.
every community.
But I don't think. But
Every
I just
community.
think that I think people. But what I'm saying is I think in people, white people that say it are doing it. I think they just have. It's a different take. I do.
Okay, let me ask you something.
And I don't think it's a different take unless they are generalizing all Black people together. If they're making the distinction, it's sensible. Because I'm sure here George is asking you, no, Saint, would you agree there's a difference between white people and trailer trash?
Absolutely.
There's a
Is there a
distinction.
difference between? No. Let's take it all the way. No, Saint. Is there a
Okay.
difference between you and a white trailer trash, tiki torch carrying, Trump supporting? You know what I mean?
Not
June
the tiki
6th
torch.
supporting.
But I think there are.
No,
I
wait a
think
minute.
there
Is
are.
there a difference between you guys? Is there a difference between you and those guys who stormed the fucking castle on June 6th? Is there a difference?
There is definitely a difference in
Not definitely.
and their
Definitely a difference.
ideologies and the way we think about certain things. There are definitely differences
let me
there.
ask
But I
you a
don't think
question,
there's
no, Saint.
yeah.
If I asked you, let's say if we were just in casual conversation and I was like, no, Saint, listen, I like you a lot because there's a huge difference between you and them fucking crackers that stormed the Capitol. You know what I mean?
Real shit. It's real shit. See, and you know what?
Will you get offended for the whites? Or are you gonna be like, oh shit, that's true. I'm definitely not them.
Come on.
It's the same question. It's
It
the
is
same
the same
question.
question.
It literally is the same question, man.
It's just that we got to come up off this PC shit because it's not helping anyone.
At all.
It's just
No,
not.
but see,
oh
man.
It really isn't. Listen,
No
no
one's
Saint,
benefiting
do you know
from
who
it.
Charleston White is? No
Say
Saint,
I'm
do
not
you know
gonna.
No Saint. Do you know who Charleston White is?
Remind me. Remind me who he is.
Does anyone know who Charleston White is? Does anyone see a difference between Charleston White and me?
Yes.
Now
Yes.
I want you at No Saint after the show, look up Charleston White so you can know what we're talking about. Okay? And when you see this person, I'm pretty sure you'll understand the difference between Black people and niggas and the point that we're trying to make here.
I still listen. The only thing I'm going to stand behind on what I said is I still think that most of the people that say that look like me are saying like they're thinking Lil Wayne. Oh, that's an N-word. But the guy in a 3-piece suit that's working on Wall Street, he's a good Black guy. That's not really making any waves.
He could be.
That's I think the difference. That's the difference. I think the one that white people say that Black people that aren't the N-words are the ones that are toting the line and not getting out of line. Or that's the way I see it when I've heard. You know, I could be wrong, but that's when I hear it from a white person. That's what I think. I think, okay, so he's ruffling. He's not towing the line, or maybe he's getting a little mouthy.
Okay, so do you know why? Do you know why if that's the case?
Go ahead, I'm listening.
Because of the topic that we're having tonight. And there's no line drawn in the sand a lot of times to make it clear of who's who and what's what. So if I'm on the outside looking in, because I'm Black, I know the nuances. I can tell the moment I turn the corner, boom, I know what the hell I'm looking at, right? So I don't expect a white person to know what the nuances in my community, especially because we haven't drawn a line in the sand.
And that's the problem. And that's one of the real problems.
And here's the thing. I wouldn't, when you look at the guy that you consider quote unquote toting the line or not getting out of line, that's who I would want to hang with. I don't want to hang with a Lil Wayne. Rich or not rich. I don't want to be anywhere near a Lil Wayne.
Because you
know what I mean?
Degenerate to me. You know what I mean?
So it's like someone else pointing it out isn't automatically racist. That's all I want to say. Someone else pointing out isn't automatically racist. I told you my dad cracked the whip. Okay. He was a fucking dictator in our house. And he made it quite clear who we were not to hang out with. And they were Puerto Rican. right?
Right.
So no,
That's
let
what
me ask
it
you a
is.
question.
And my mother was the
Let me ask
same
you,
about blacks.
let me ask you a question, no Saint. Would you have you ever seen a black crackhead?
Personally, no, just in the movies.
Yeah,
You live in New
right.
Orleans and you done
If
got
he's
around seeing black
listen,
crackheads?
if
I
he
guess I.
saw,
Jesus Christ. This is the degree of privilege and just the
Right.
bubble we're dealing with. Okay, well,
meanwhile we're
let's
related. Meanwhile we're related to crackheads, and our jewelry is missing.
Right.
listen,
And they help you look for it. And they
listen,
Yes,
help you look for
yes,
it.
But
really.
anyway, no Saint. Those black crackheads that you saw on television, right? Let's take that.
On television.
Wow.
I can't believe I'm saying this. Let's take
I know.
that
This is
example
horrible.
and think
In
about
Minecraft.
Oh my God.
wait, and
This
let's
is
take
getting
one of those.
worse.
I don't know, one of those guys that you say that whites refer to as the good black guys, right? An honest question: if you have both of those people in your house, now listen, this is where we're going with it. If you have both of those people in your house, who would you leave alone?
Do
Would
I
you leave
have to
alone?
leave anybody alone?
I don't know. Who would you leave alone to go get a beer? Who would you leave alone to go get the dough? Who would you leave
Oh
alone
man,
for
you're
4 to
going
5
so
minutes?
extreme. You're so funny though. That's extreme.
What?
I
Yo,
wouldn't
stop.
Okay,
probably.
listen,
Listen,
okay,
First of
let me
all,
help you out.
first of all, if
Situation.
someone has
No,
a drug, if someone has a drug problem, I'm not going to have them over my house. Period. It doesn't have to be.
I'm asking a question, no Saint. I'm asking
Yeah,
a
I know
question.
you're putting it, but I'm saying I wouldn't have a person
That's
addicted
great.
to any
That's
drug
wonderful.
at my
I'm
house.
asking a
Yeah,
question though.
But that's
Please answer
fine.
the question.
at least
Let's
not
not drive
knowingly,
the
not
okay.
knowingly.
Let's not
Yeah.
drive the question, because I mean it's too hypothetical. He just answered the question. If he knows someone has a drug problem, he doesn't want them in their house, in his house.
and
That's
if,
it. That's it right there. That's just like a white person saying it, a black person saying it. So he has common sense. He knows the
right.
difference between a good guy and a bad guy. He knows it already without the
And
person
if
even being in his house. So the kumbaya thing where it's like, no, they're saying that because they may be racist is BS. He knows good from bad. He knows people are degenerate and some people aren't.
Well, no, I
I
think
mean,
that's
it's
an.
as
I
simple
think
as this. No saying, if we was the other black meat, you would have never stayed out in Vegas with our asses under one roof. If you know we was the other black meat.
You were
I
some of the
don't
people
know.
we knew.
It depends on what you're talking about. I mean, yeah, if anybody, not just black people, are in some kind of element that I feel would be threatening or possibly get me in trouble, like wrong crowd, it wouldn't matter what. It wouldn't matter if they're black or white. I wouldn't be hanging out with them.
So black people come in the wrong crowd too.
I understand that, but
Okay.
but all I'm saying is I don't think you can necessarily look at people and know that they're the wrong crowd just by what they're wearing necessarily.
We can.
I can.
We can.
It's literally how we survived.
I mean, white women know. Why you don't know? White women across the street in a heartbeat. Why you don't? They won't get in a fucking elevator. They won't get in a fucking elevator. Meanwhile, No Saint has no clue. Follow the Karens, No Saint. Follow the Karens. Stay safe.
Well, he's a Cards fan. Those damn Cards fans. I don't know.
So I do want to say two things. No Saint, you brought up Two Live Crew, right? Do you bring them up like as them being a catalyst for a Sexy Red in 2023? Do you think that they spawned it?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I was just trying to bring up that there was stuff going on back in the day that was pretty raunchy, but it did get called out. There was some calling out of it. But my whole point was that the reason now I think you see it more is because people need to have a way to try to stand out, and they're running out of options as far as their sexuality and everything. They're running out because it's everywhere. We see it everywhere. It's not a big deal anymore.
Right.
And so they're trying to get more and more disgusting and to grab somebody's attention. That's what I was.
Yeah, I mean the Sexy Red lyrics I read were pretty bad. That's not even, like the woman said in the TikTok video, that's not even music. Like it's not even music. There's nothing musical about it. There's nothing artistic about it. And it's not about art. It's subjective. Like this is literally, it's literally like a voiceover for a porn flick. Is what it
Look,
sounds like to me. Like if someone was describing what was happening in a porn flick, that's what it sounded like to me. It didn't sound like hip hop or rap.
if there were 3 Lauryn Hills out there and they were doing just as well, then nobody would really have a fucking problem. The point is that we're saying is that no one's saying that this shit is new. We're saying that it's just flooded the goddamn market, and no, there shouldn't be any element of hip hop or any element of music or any idea that just floods the market. Okay, we always had whole shit in black music, period. But you had the gospel shit. You had Michael Jackson. You had other shit. Millie Jackson just want to do some whole shit, or somebody else want to do some whole shit. That was their thing. Now it's just everybody's a hoe, and that's just not good.
So, of course, like any conversation regarding Black people, the Jews have entered the chat. I don't think that POV is accurate, Jen. The Jewish community completely sticks together and considers each other family, and it works.
Okay.
You want to get Jewish people to a conversation, make it about Black people. Jewish people will show up automatically.
Justin's a Jew, right?
I'm about to say, like, there's different they have clear drawn lines as well. Like, there's different sectors of them as well, but we try to throw them all in one pot, and just whenever there's a Black conversation, we throw them all in one pot and act like they.
Yeah, and I guarantee, I'd put my money on, if Jewish people had a demographic, and any of that, the Ashkenazi Jews, the small hats, the Hasidics, whoever, I guarantee if they had a large mainstream community, which they would never allow, by the way, they would never allow. Let's start there. But hypothetically, just for shits and giggles, let's go Disney. If Jewish people had a huge demographic of women that were twerking and bent over and talking about what color their vagina is and their anuses are and shit like that, they would be excommunicado, if not destroyed.
Absolutely.
Okay, they would not be upheld. They would not be celebrated. They would not be defended. That's for certain. They wouldn't even be allowed. But let's just say they got through. They snuck through the cracks. They would be shut down so motherfucking fast. You'd be like, hey, whatever happened to that Jewish rapper that was stripping? That's the conversations we would be having. There was a turning point, right? Because we grew up in the 90s, right? We were there. We had X-Clan and Public Enemy and the Fugees and what have you. There was such an amazing balance. Matter of fact, it wasn't even a balance. It was more positive rap and hip hop than it was a Little Kim.
Very much so.
Okay, Little Kim was a rare one. Everybody else was natural and beautiful and singing about, the environment and the times, and they were conscious, and they had the beads, and it was very beautiful to see, actually. So someone.
You don't remember all on the same gang?
Comedic timing. We're going to work on it.
Yeah, it's the comedic timing.
But
yeah, that was your timing. No sales. Like,
we'll work on it.
Okay, we will promise. You're with the professionals. We will help. No say. Gotta love No Saint. So someone mentioned, I can't find the comment now because it's too many, but someone mentioned, again, that the record labels are pushing this music. So again, that means that Black people are children who are constantly being told what to write, what to do, how to perform, how to strip, how to twerk by the wats. Right? Is that what we're saying? Because again, I see someone in the chat blaming the record labels. So Sexy Red is a product of the record label pushing her.
So
she has no fault in going into the studio and
again, victimhood.
That was what I was. Yes,
again,
exactly.
Just fucking say it.
That's I want to go there with that because if let's just assume all of that is true, okay, we all still have a choice. We're all in the entertainment business on this panel. Um, so but we still have a choice in the matter at the end of the day. We like individually have standards for our own self, regardless of what somebody's pushing, right? Because we're talking about the entertainment industry, which is just another industry of work. Okay.
Mhm.
So I'm not in the porn industry because that industry of work I don't want to do, and it's not with my standards of how I want to be seen publicly. So I choose not to do that. I opt out, right? Well, you have an option to opt out of this shit too, if that's what they're saying, because there's other jobs, there's other means, and there's other ways of getting it that's independent. We're in 2023 at this point, y'all. Like, come on, like really, come on. And then we look at the people who defend it, it's us. It can't happen without us. We have to be complicit. It's the same thing. We have to be complicit.
Um, uh, so Daryl Allen said, and then I want to respond to something you said, Lily. Daryl Allen said, I said that, Jen, and he gave me 1, 2, 3 exclamation points. The recording company is pushing that because they see it as working. It spells money to them. They care about the money, not the morale. The artists are doing it, Daryl, because they care about the money. The artists. The artists do not work for free, is my point. Sexy Red has, a 6-figure diamond chain that she wears on her neck. Where do you think, I'm just curious, she got that money that she's holding? You see the money in her hand? Do you see the diamond necklace around her neck? That woman does not work for free. That is my point. And going back to your point, Lily, when people blame the record labels, right, as if the artist doesn't have a choice. Well, let's rewind. Do you all remember when Zoe Saldana played Nina Simone? Horrible depiction, but that's a different topic. You all remember when Zoe Saldana took the role of Nina Simone? There was a resounding, you ain't have to do that. You had the choice. You chose. And Zoe Saldana confirmed, you guys were right. I chose to do that and I should have opted out because I had the chance to opt out. My bad. Sorry. When they get a white woman, Angelina Jolie, coming up is playing Cleopatra. There's a resounding, you got a choice. You don't have to do that. Now, if Angelina Jolie does it, the film studios are going to push it because it's a business. It's a money business. They're not in the business of feelings. They're in the business of money. However, there's always a resounding, okay? You got a choice. You don't have to do that. When Jamie Foxx's daughter played Thelma in the TV reunion, Good Times, she's too light-skinned to play Thelma. How dare they? How dare they cast Jamie Foxx's daughter? She's half white. She's light. She had a choice, right? So it seems to me that you thinking artists have a choice is quite conditional. It's quite conditional. When it comes to hip hop, when it comes to hip hop, the labels are at fault. The Jewish people are at fault. Mainstream media is at fault, and the rappers go in arms twisted at gunpoint to say, "My coochie is pink, my booty hole is brown." Haran, you were saying?
Nah, they know about choice because the moment a black man puts a fucking dress on, they blame the nigga.
Uh-oh. Well, what now? Hold on now.
You don't blame the label. No, you don't. Because the first thing you say, well, motherfucker, you had a choice. We all understand choice when it's wrapped up in something that pertains to us. You know what I mean? That's what it is a lot of times. Sometimes you got to wrap that shit up in a manner that pertains to that person. They can fully understand that, yeah, you're on board with this because you have shown that you're on board with it if it affects you. So look, just say that half these motherfuckers ain't got no fucking choice outside of hip hop, so they'll do whatever for the fucking money. These ain't Rhodes Scholars. Half these chicks, if they didn't have fucking hip hop, they'd be on their sixth fucking kid. They'd be working at fucking Target. These niggas would be locked up. Some on death row. You know what I mean? We're not dealing with Harvard material here. Let's just call it what it is.
Yeah.
Okay?
Can we get please hit the like for me and the subscribe if you're here and you're enjoying the show and the platform. Dara Allen says, "Oh, okay, I see. I understand, but I thought that the company wins anyway. The money Sexy Red is making is substantial, but I would think the company is making 10 times the amount." Well, now we have to deal with common sense and logic. If you have a job, are you supposed to make as much money as your boss? I mean, that's just common sense and logic. Of course, the artist is going to make less than the label. The label is facilitating her lifestyle. They're flying
And
her
isn't that
around. They're getting her photo shoots done. Of course, they're going to make more money.
It's
So this is
risk.
right.
The
It's like
label's taking the risk.
the label
right?
is taking a risk, and that's with any company.
Yeah.
You're never going to make as much as your boss ever. You get a piece.
But it's also supply and demand. They're only supplying what's being demanded because they're business people at the end of the day. They don't care about the Black community and Black women and
Mm-hmm.
the image of like, no, it's like, oh, this is what y'all want. Okay,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
let's go
And
ahead
I'm
and
just
make
gonna
the
let people
result.
out there know right now that if some movie studio would be crazy enough to offer me a contract, I don't know, it wouldn't even have to be that much money. Let's say $500,000 to play Martin Luther King. I don't give a fuck if I have a choice. I'm taking that role because that's a chance for me to try to act and get my stuff out there and maybe give me another opportunity. So this whole thing about people having some kind of a obligation to make you feel good that, you know, that Cleopatra was ethnically the right person. That's not her responsibility. Whoever's making the movie and paying her, I'm taking that opportunity. And I think
Mm-hmm.
most people would. I don't know many people that would say I'm not going to take that opportunity because I'm offending somebody. No, that's not how it works.
Tristan, no, it was Thelma, not Velma. I don't know who Velma is.
Velma from Scooby Doo.
Oh,
We gotta keep reminding ourselves Tristan's like 25 or some shit like that. I
okay.
don't
I'm like,
fucking
who the
know.
hell's Velma? I'm like, who is Velma?
He was born
Yeah. So,
when the
so,
WAP came out.
you know, again, we're constantly shifting the blame. I don't understand, and this is why, again, I'm sorry, I keep pulling up the fucking thumbnail. This is why I'm asking the question: who ruined the image of Black women, Black men, media, hip hop, or themselves? I keep asking the question. And I keep hearing everybody outside, right? It's the media, it's Hollywood, it's the hip hop labels. So it sounds almost like the infantilization of a community, as if they have no control or power or
Look,
choice.
you know, when Ish says these things, if he's still in the crowd, every
He
time
was here a minute ago. I don't know what happened.
every time he blames the current inability for us to make critical decisions on our own as a community, he constantly blames that on the white man. And to do that is to essentially concede your ability to choose, your freedom to take control of your life. You're basically chaining that to the ideas of someone else. You're basically saying that someone else has to green light your ability to empower yourself. And the reason why you can't empower yourself is because of what that person probably didn't do to you directly. They did to your grandmama or your grandmama's grandmama. That's the reason why you can't get right. And that's not adult behavior. That's not how adults think. That's not how men think. Okay, if we are to sit here and say that we are going to be men and we're going to lead our community, then stop thinking like fucking women. Women blame everybody, and women never forget some shit you did 5 or 6 fucking years ago. You know what I mean?
I have another point I want to make.
Mm.
You know, a lot of times these labels these days it's a little bit different. They sign based off of your social media following and your engagement and things like that, and um, your reach, like people sharing and reposting and things like that. So when we look at a person like an Ice Spice or a Sexy Red or a Sukiana, right? And you go through the list of people who are following them, reposting and sharing them, and propelling them up to a level of fame and notoriety. Who are we seeing? It's not Jewish people. They're coming in afterward when they realize, like, oh wow, this person has this many followers. This person is getting shared this much. This person is on the everyone's tongue. I'm gonna go ahead and sign them because they got a built-in base. That's how they're thinking as business people. But who's following them? Who's sharing them? Who's talking about them? Who's putting them on their podcast?
Mm, that's exactly how, and they come a running. What did Drake say? I did it without the label. The labels came running for him when they saw how popular he became on YouTube. And a lot of artists are like that. They want to know how many followers you have. The Jewish people don't provide you with followers. They see who's following you, who's popping in the community, and they say, get a little piece of that. No difference than Lemuel Plummer or Plumer of Zeus Network. He's like, oh shit, people like Ratchet. Black people like Ratchet. I'm a black man. Let me get a piece of that pie. And he went and started the Zeus Network. And we see the content that he's putting out. And he just said that his company is about to be worth $1 billion in a couple years, right? And what does he put out? He's not Jewish.
Nope. Because the moment we get in position to have the power and to create the content and distribution and things like that, and Zeus is one of those, and Mona Scott is another, and 50 Cent is another, and we have others. We put out the same content because they know that's what they want.
So this is an interesting comment here. Alpha Omega says themselves, of course. Sha'Carri Richardson gets so much focus. Why? I made a post about Sha'Carri Richardson. I basically said that she is not the quintessential underdog story of someone that went through hard knocks, and now they it's the rise of the phoenix and what have you. She's actually somebody that broke the rules, whether people, it wasn't a strict rule or whatever the fuck it was. She did something she wasn't supposed to do, right? And she was working for people. She runs track, but she runs track for the US, not for herself, not for her neighborhood. She runs for the USA, right? So got caught doing some stupid shit, then got outcast for a little, came back and won, as you guys saw. But I was like, you guys are really acting like this is some underdog story of someone who couldn't help their life or that. No, she did. She made a choice. She made a choice, right? So now, of course, in the community, she's like the sweetheart because she got caught smoking weed, got in trouble, fell off, and then she came back and won, right? So going back to that comment, Sha'Carri Richardson gets so much focus. Why? I also had that same opinion. Why? Because there were other Black women running track that went by the book and busted their ass, and I'm sure had horrible backgrounds and horrible experiences, right? Some, not all, but Sha'Carri Richardson with the colored hair and the claw nails and the attitude, she gets all the press. Now, I don't know about you guys, but if I was one of the girls that did everything right despite my upbringing, despite my obstacles, I'm fucking running track and I'm just as good as her, maybe a couple seconds behind, and she gets all the attention, I would be feeling a ways. I would be feeling a ways because I would be thinking, so I got to be ratchet as fuck, disrespectful as fuck. I got to smoke weed so I could get on the cover of fucking Time magazine.
Do you know?
And who's upholding her? It's not No Saints. Who's upholding her? As the sweetheart of track.
All I'm saying, if she's a couple of seconds behind, she's not in the race. I think you mean a couple of tenths of a second behind.
Oh, okay. I don't know. We don't into sports, so I don't know.
Okay.
But
these are kind of moments where you kind of like, we'll talk, no Saint. We'll talk.
Yeah.
Or she doesn't fucking know. Just go ahead.
Right.
I did, but just so I could clear it up for No Saint, when I say a couple seconds behind, I mean coming in second place to her. Is that clear? Like coming in second place. Whoever's coming in second place is how close to the win. Because all
See, no,
Sha'Carri has to do is cross the
couple
finish
of
line.
tenths, maybe a tenth of a
Okay,
second.
so okay,
We won't know. We still won't know.
okay, a couple of tenths of a second. There you go.
But I'm always wondering, like with it, to your point, which is why I'm always so concerned about my youngest brother, who will be 18 in a couple of months. You know, I'm always concerned that because he's such a good kid, he's nerdy. He don't got much swag, and I want him to stay that way, right? And it's like I wonder how much pressure he has, because it's like the nerdy smart kid that's not getting in trouble is definitely going to get overlooked, and then the ratchet degenerate is going to get all of the attention in our community. Um, so that's always the concern of not just for him, but just young people in general.
Alpha
Um,
Omega says, I believe she is an example of our brainwashing. I agree. You know, Cardi came out at a strip club. Isn't it funny? Everyone is black, right? Why do we lift and praise her up? That's also true. Cardi B is not black. She's not black culturally. She's just not. She's Dominican. Okay. And her father is from Trinidad. She's Caribbean. However, she's another hero of who? Black women,
mhm.
right? Very, very interesting comments tonight. Thank you, chat, for holding
I
it down.
know.
Shit. The chat is on and popping.
I just want to say, chat, I slap you guys around a lot of times, but you guys do have some interesting things to say from time to time. You do.
Mm-hmm.
I like Tristan's comment saying about people to get the welcome home parties, and
Lily
and
is right. People get welcome home parties coming home from prison versus the kid graduating with a master's from MIT. Well, shit. Well, I'm the party after MIT type of mama. So.
Well, I
right.
remember when I came out of college and I was having issues finding a job. A lot of the brothers that I knew, they laughed at me, and they told me I went to college for nothing.
Oh wow.
Well, Haran, next time we hook up in Vegas, all of us together, we celebrating that shit. What happened? Ain't never too late for a party.
Ain't never too late.
It ain't never too late. Another good point. Remember Tasha K versus Cardi? Everyone took Cardi's side, and I really do think everybody took Cardi's side because she was the most ratchet of the two. Because Tasha K isn't exactly the most refined woman.
Oh
But
God.
I really, Cardi B is always going to have the more fans because she represents a certain demographic, a large demographic. And I've had debates on Facebook with people that were, defending Sexy Red, and they like it because they just as ratchet as her, and they find it amusing. So
Yeah.
So
And
go ahead, Lily. I'm sorry.
no, I'm just thinking, like, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't worry about it.
Yeah, don't worry about it. I got it.
Don't even worry about it.
You sound like my daughter. She's like, don't worry about it. I got it. Oh my
Ain't even worth
God.
bringing up. Sorry.
Yeah. My daughter, she's so funny. She was like, can you make me that thing you do that so I could eat? Don't worry about it. I got it. Before I even answer, because she knows I'm gonna be like, it's 10 o'clock.
Okay.
I'm not fucking going out. No, but nobody's burners and nobody's 10 o'clock. She'd be like, don't worry about it. I got it. Because she knows I'm gonna be like, give it, get out. All right, guys. So we are at a little bit over the hour. We got about 40 people in the room. It is up to my panel if you'd like to continue, or we can continue tomorrow.
I've said enough. That's just my opinion. I've said enough on my end.
Well, thank you for the super chat, Kike Todd. Is that a racist term?
Like, we don't even sure if we want to even say that, right?
Right? I'm like, what are we saying here exactly? Anyway,
Yeah,
thank you for the
let me
super
look that
chat.
up.
Because Mistress Jen is never the problem. Damn right. I like you already, Kike, whoever. I'm never the problem. And I'll bring up this comment. Artist does something for attention. Artist gets attention. Buyers and audience are created. Audience pumps the artist to blow up. Labels step in when it's packaged and ready to sell with no effort. Absolutely, especially the artists of today, because like Lily said, they come packaged with their entire fan base. So we can no longer blame those labels. If I was a label, honestly speaking, I'm picking the most ratchet bitch I see on Instagram because y'all love her, you uphold her, you defend her. So I don't even need to fucking buy a PR team for her, because the moment she says something out of pocket, her 1.5 million fans are going to defend her. So I don't even got to spend money on a marketing team or PR. It is well packaged and ready to go. Okay, so let's stop blaming the record labels. Business is business, and there's no feelings in business. Take responsibility for what you defend and uphold. I'm not sure if we answered the question tonight. I'm not sure if we're deciding it's a collective, and I'm not sure if we're coming back for a part 2 tomorrow. Maybe we can give a little bit of this in the beginning of the show tomorrow. This was really good. We said some great points. I wish we could go longer, but it's late for the block. Also, I don't know if you guys heard, but 50 Cent through not one, but 2 microphones into an audience. Not into the audience. He was mad that his microphone was not working correctly, and he threw 2 microphones into his crew, the area where his crew was. And one of the microphones he threw very, very hard, okay, like he was pitching. You got to see the second throw of the mic. And he hit a young woman on her forehead, bust her head open, blood everywhere. And she is going to press charges, which I understand, because she went, I'm sure, and paid good money to be that close to the stage. I'm sure she was not expecting to get her head knocked off. And it was a pretty bloody scene, pretty devastating. So before y'all get to, she's just trying to get a bag, she deserves a bag. That is some trauma. That is some PTSD. That is some stitches. It was a lot of blood. So whatever happens, happens. I don't understand why any artist would throw a microphone, which is literally a weapon, at that height, not once, but twice. He threw 2 microphones in where his crew was. He could have hurt somebody in a crew. I don't think that's what you should do just because your sound is off. You can point, you can let people know. There's a lot of things that as performers we know on stage, we can like signal like, I can't hear myself. But he decided, no, I'm gonna show you my mic doesn't work by not throwing it once, but twice into the crew. So get well soon to that young lady. It was a horrible scene. So, well wishes for her. Last super chat of the night says, thank you to Press for supporting the show. Says, great show. I keep grilling y'all next time. All right, guys. So tomorrow, shall we pick this back up on a Friday? What do you think?
We should.
I think we'll have more people in the room, and maybe Brother should get permission to come up, and we'll deal with his side. We'll deal with his side of the fence. This was short and sweet, very informative, great opinions. Thank you, chat, for holding me down. Thank you for the super chats. If you want to support the show after the fact, you're catching a replay, please cash out mama. Help me keep the street lights on. David Dillon says, injured by me, baby, be a millionaire. Now she deserves that money. I gotta say, this is not a cash grab. That was a pretty devastating injury. Pretty gross.
They're gonna do a nice little
of course. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, and when you Daryl Allen, we'll be back. We will be back and we'll be talking about it.
I'm pretty sure the people who are defending it are either 50 Cent fans or people who hate women. Because how can you really defend this? If this was Calvin, the budding rapper, that did this, they wouldn't have the same.
Oh, they'd be tearing them apart in the comments. But it's 50 Cent, and we all know that celebrity dick riders ride hard.
Well, no, I could take it a step further. If it was Calvin, the budding rapper, and it was Catch Me Outside sitting out there, totally different. Just
very, very conditional humans are. Yeah.
Very.
All right, guys. So we will continue this tomorrow. But if you see the video, the way he threw that microphone, that looked with intent to cause injury. That's what it looked like to me. It didn't look like, hey, my mic's not working. It looked like intent to cause injury. Don't let me get my Kamala Harris on. Intent to cause bodily harm. All right, guys. See you tomorrow. Love you all. Good night.
Good night.
Hit that like and subscribe on your way out the door for mama. This was a good one. We'll continue mañana. Thank you so much for supporting the show. Good night.